Good afternoon, my name is Fran Rajic.
Good afternoon, my name is Andre Bennett.
My name is William Chang.
And we'll be presenting our MIS presentation on a business called Let's Get Active.
Let's Get Active is run solely by Louis Anna, who works as an entrepreneur. He incorporated his business on the 21st of April 2017. He runs two types of gym sessions, solo sessions and group sessions. We asked Louis 20 questions about his business, but we put the 9 most effective and which the ones we selected are problems from. So the first question which we asked Louis was, how do you monitor your time schedule? The second was, how do you book your clients? The third was, how do you keep track of your payments? The fourth was, how do you keep track of your finances? The fifth was, how do you promote your business? The sixth was, do you have a website? The seventh was, how do you get feedback from your clients? And the eighth was, how do you monitor your clients' progresses? And the ninth, but not least, was in which areas could you improve your business? So we identified 5 problems from those selected questions. The first problem that we identified was that the company is targeting a certain demographic due to over-promoting on social media. And we noticed that due to promoting on mainly Instagram and Twitter, he was only getting an age group in the range of 18 to 25 years old.
And he works off word of mouth as well, and they end up talking to each other, and his client base is like very shallow right now, and we're trying to expand that.
Very limited. The second problem we identified was that the company doesn't have a database to store the client's details. And this is very unprofessional, as the business could lose the client's details, and that is their main stream of revenue. Once they lose their client's details, they have no income basically.
All details were stored on the personal phone of the business owner, so this is not a viable solution for long term. Anything can happen to the phone, it could be lost, stolen. So having something valuable as the client details was one of our main priorities.
The third was that the company doesn't have anywhere to store the client's data or improvements in which they have been monitoring. And this is a key thing in personal training, as you must be able to show your clients progress into where they was before and where they are today, as this is a big motivational key in personal training. The fourth problem was that the company receives cash payments, which creates confusion and is difficult to keep track of.
Yeah, since people get paid in cash, it's hard to keep track of who paid for what time, how many classes, because they don't get paid just in one class at a time, they can be paid in blocks. So we try to create a solution to this issue, which we'll talk about later.
The last but not least was that the company sometimes overbooks due to bad time organization skills.
So again, he kept everything on his phone. It worked with text or phone calls. So sometimes he ended up overbooking clients, which is horrendous for business, especially because it works from word of mouth. So we're trying to get that under control.
And you don't want to have a bad name for time organization skills.
Especially in the service market.
Yeah. So the problems that we have chosen to speak on and selected 3 IS solutions on was that the company is targeting a certain demographic due to promoting mostly on social media. The second was the company receives cash payments, which creates confusion and is difficult to keep track of. And the third was the company doesn't have a database to store the client's details or any progress that they have made.
So the first solution we have come up is that we decided that the owner of the company should research into Google Trends. Google Trends is an online tool, like online searching tools, that allows the user to see how many times the specific keywords has been searched over a period of time. This is one of the solutions that the company should consider about, as Google Trends can find out in which specific keywords, which is personal trainer, or that's
geographical area.
Yeah, which specific geographical area has the words personal trainer, or that's the company are likely to target market in that focused area. So the second best ICT solution is that for the company targeting a certain demographic due to promoting mostly on social media would be for them to get into email marketing, which is very effective method of sending emails to clients and possibly future clients. There is already a platform for using this method, which is MailChimp. MailChimp is free up until 12,000 emails per month and will allow you to have 2,000 subscribers. You could buy the Pro or Grow account, which allows you to send unlimited emails.
This is great because it is free up to a point, and not only that, it doesn't require much time. He can also film his sessions and send them as emails to try to entice clients to join, so you can show them a little bit about what he does. And since it's all from basically from one click of a button, he doesn't have to spend that much time. Since he's solely running the business, he doesn't have that much free time to spend on marketing, but this is a great tool for him.
So you can reach a wide amount of people and a wide amount of different demographics and different types of customers at such a short time. So he can target so many people in just a click of a button, and he could do this in a space of about 10-15 minutes. So this is why we thought it's so effective.
So the last solution for problem one is that we decided to do a celebrity endorsement through social media. We can then target a specific demographic. For example, the company could pay a celebrity to attend to their gym section to exercise whilst videoing each activity. In addition, the celebrity can post it on their social media, then tag the company, and they could give a rating on how their experience was, which would attract specific clients depending on the celebrity's fan base.
So this is something something that we've seen used very often with gym sessions. They film with a celebrity, or they pay a celebrity to get into a gym session with them, and celebrities will post it on Instagram or Twitter or Snapchat. And since they have a lot of followers, a lot of people will be interested. They want to train with the same coaches that trains the celebrities. So this would be maybe a larger investment than the other options, but it's proven already. So this is one of the solutions that we offered.
So the best solution for problem one is we decided to use MailChimp. This is because it requires a small amount of time and a minimal amount of ICT knowledge.
Yeah, it's basically cheap, easy for him to do, and reaches the largest audience by far. So this is what we would do to solve his problem with targeting such a small demographic only.
It's also the most effective as well, by far.
So the second issue the company had was keeping track of payments. So since personal trainings works in cash payments, you can pay for one class straight up, you can pay for many blocks of classes, but since he's keeping all the information on his phone, sometimes he loses track how many classes you paid for, which classes you didn't pay for. So our first simple solution to that would be create a simple spreadsheet on Excel, put the client's names, when they paid for how many classes. Then we can incorporate something more advanced and put some if functions or conditional formatting, which will turn the cells red if they haven't paid for some classes, or the cells can be green if they're on track. So it's just something very simple like that. Our second solution would be to join a company called Active. Active not only will help him for the cash payments, but it will allow his clients to pay with their credit cards or debit cards, and he will have a card reader. This will make keeping track of payments easy because he gets a digital receipt after every transaction, so you can see from which client has paid for how many classes, so it's easier to keep track of because he has online receipts. Not only that, it will entice clients to join him because he gives alternatives to paying in cash, since in London most people carry credit cards, debit cards, not large amounts of cash. So they would, so this is something that he would have to differentiate himself over other personal training firms. So yeah, that was a really interesting one we found for that issue. Our third option was something basic as well. PayPal. PayPal is a company which allows you to have a one account where you can send, transfer, accept payments. Basically, here he would have an open account on PayPal for people that want to pay with cash. You can just send him money through PayPal. He will see who it's from because the name of the email of the person. He will also have an online receipt. He can download that weekly or monthly and keep track of his finances, and will make his accounting much simpler because he doesn't have to keep track of people giving him cash in hand. He'll have the receipts online. So for us, the best solution for the cash is ISO. Not only does it solve the problem of not knowing where the cash came from who, at what time, for how many classes, but it also gives him an option to differentiate himself over other personal training firms by allowing his clients to pay with cards. So yeah, that was by far the best solution for him.
So the final problem is that the company didn't have anywhere to store the client's details or the client's measurements. And one of the key elements of the business is to be able to show improvements to the clients, which we already discussed earlier. And in order for this progress to happen, it has to be shown. The business doesn't have a database to store the client's measurements, but rather does it like pictures. This may be inaccurate due to lighting changes. So we suggested that all the measurements are kept on an Excel file in order to compare the changes after a certain amount of time to show whether or not the classes have been paid off or not.
Not only our pictures might be inaccurate due to lighting or what you've eaten or whatever situation you're in right now, but also some clients don't feel comfortable taking shirtless pics or pictures in their underwear. So that was maybe something we try to work on. We want to create an Excel file that will look at the measurements they're trying to reach. So not only will it keep the empirical data on there, but it will also give the clients a better experience, because you're not only creating the sessions around them, you're creating the goals and the measurements around them. So if clients want to lose weight, your measurements would be based on the weight of the client. If they want to create a muscle growth, your measurements will be on the growth of the muscle after every month of training or any period of time. So it creates a better experience for the client as a whole.
And also, if you're keeping pictures on your phone, you could lose your phone or your phone could be stolen at any time. It's not really professional. So we decided that Excel is just a better option than taking pictures. The second solution we have come up with was for the company to create an Access database, Microsoft Access database, to store the client's measurements. This is a tool in which you can create applications or databases using templates or from scratch. We suggested that the company use Access to create a useful form which includes each client's details and measurements. This would help them keep on track of how much they are improving on and their personal goals. So the best solution for problem 3 we decided would be Excel. This is because Microsoft Access requires too much ICT knowledge, and the learning curve might be too large to overcome in such a short space of time.
Access also is used for thousands and thousands of data store. He's only working himself, so he's looking at max 100, 200 clients tops. So there's really no point getting to the specifics of using Access for someone who hasn't used ICT or doesn't have that much time to use ICT. Everyone knows how to use Excel, has a basic knowledge of Excel. So that's by far the best solution, quickest. Just we have to get the problem in order that he can't keep all his details on his phone. So that was the easiest and quickest solution for him. So the next part of our MIS presentation was to create a budget plan for him. So this was a little bit different since we only have one product, which is his personal training class, which goes for £60. Or classes, but he averaged around 90 classes per month, so 90 hours per month. He charges by the hour, and we've seen he grows at around 6% per month. And the great thing about his business is that he works on fixed costs, not variable costs, fixed costs. So he pays 600 for rent, 200 for transport, and 80 for equipment. So that makes it much simpler to calculate. You can see first month he did 90 classes at £60. He made 5,400 revenue. His fixed cost was 880, so he brought forward, he made a profit of £4,520. He saved up £3,000, so at the end of the month, the balance carried forward was £7,520. As you can see, every month the class grows by 6%. This reaches 120 hours after 6 months. We do understand that the growth is exponential, but at some point this will have to stop because he said he can't teach more than 120 hours per month. So that will have to slow down since he's working alone. But you can see that after 6 months, the balance carry forward will be over £35,000. So you can see the business is booming, it's doing well, it's great. So, I mean, no complaints there. Another part of our MIS presentation was to create a database on Access for him. Again, a little bit different to another business because he only has one product. So we created 3 tables. Our first table was the customer's table. The primary key was the customer's number, which is auto-generated. Then we had the first name, last name, street, postcode, and phone number. So basic info about the clients. Our second table was the sales number auto-generated as well. That's the primary key. Then the sales date, customer number, and class ID. Our third table was the classes. We had the primary key as the class ID, which is auto-generated as well. Then it has the location and the class type, because he doesn't only teach in one location or does one class type. He does cardio, strength, boxing, many classes in different locations, such as Marylebone or Knightsbridge. So as you can see, the relationships are that the customer number, which is the primary key in the customers table, is the foreign key in the sales. The primary key, the class ID, is the foreign key in the sales as well. So this is how they would encourage them to use. It makes it much simpler, and this is a nice way of showing it. So this is what we did for Let's Get Active. This will conclude our presentation on Let's Get Active, our MIS presentation. Hope you enjoyed, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.